I literally just filmed this video like 20 minutes ago, and then for some reason, unknown to me, the editing software decided to not work properly. So we're going to have to do it all again. On that note, hey people, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Welcome to a rather interesting video. I was at work today doing a mundane job that allowed my thoughts to kind of go astray. And I was there and I was thinking, what's an interesting video idea that, isn't been done / exciting, what's something that I could do, without copying someone directly or whatever. And then tiny bit of backstory, I guess. So it's coming into the colder months of my hemisphere now, right? Yep, my hemisphere, like I own it. And so because of that, I get excited and inspired, you could say, to listen to a lot of black metal, the real cold, dark music of heavy metal. Because you can't do that in the summer, I feel. It just doesn't really work. So now that it's getting colder, the sun is setting, a lot sooner. The sun rises a bit later in the morning. It's just virtually darkness is coming. So what better way to accept the darkness with the darkest music? And so that's where it came from. And then I had a thought of, so there's a debate amongst metalheads of who has the first black metal album. And I thought it'd be a fun idea to take those two albums and put them up against each other, sort of like a versus, sort of like a one-on-one, a 1 ounce, if you'd call it. And so yeah, we're going to take Venom's Welcome to Hell versus Bathory's debut album, and we're going to put them up against each other and just kind of, at the end of it, come to a little conclusion, and, hopefully we can land on an agreement here that states that, which one is better suited to have the title of first black metal album. So, yeah, could start some hate, could start some keypad warriors, but I mean, it's all part of the fun. That's the beauty of the internet. You can share all your thoughts, and hopefully, you can share all your thoughts and get away with it. Mostly, 9/11 was inside, but we move on. So we're gonna start with the album that came first. We're gonna start with Venom's debut. Okay, so let's go through a few characteristics. Well, let's go through a few things. Before we've even listened to the album, before we've even heard the first note, we look at the image. Now, you get a pretty good idea of what this album is wanting you to listen to. A black background with a big punch you in the face pentagram is pretty evil, and it's pretty metal. Yeah, obviously it's very basic. There's nothing outrageous about it, we'll say. But however, this came out in 1981. Now, I can't exactly comment on what else was coming out in 1981 because I wasn't there. But obviously it's 1981. This is like the tail end of the new wave of British heavy metal, we'll say. And so you got obviously Maiden, who have kicked off by now. They're nowhere near the same. Their probably closest resemblance is Motorhead. I've heard them be compared to a poor man's Motorhead. But I mean, we're not talking about Venom's whole career. We're only talking about this one album, okay? So yeah, in terms of like album covers, it's pretty basic, but also extremely captivating. Don't you think? Don't you agree? What is up with this fucking hair? Sorry, it's bothering me. I need to wash it. Okay, so yeah, first, yeah, so image-wise, it's got what black metal would have. Moving on. The name. This album is called Welcome to Hell. Now, when you put that next to the pentagram, I mean, they are two massive green ticks in the black metal checklist, we'll say. So far, yes, it's ticking all the boxes, and we love that. That's great. Welcome to Hell really, really stands out as like this, it's looking at that, it's not an album that you would want your nan to pick up. But if she did, invite her around and we'll have a good time. But yeah, so going off the front, the image and the name, pretty strong point. I can't think of the right words, but yeah, pretty likely to be the first black metal album. Okay, so now we tackle the songs. So let's just go through some of the songs real quick. Okay, so the first song that we get introduced to is Sons of Satan. There's three of them, and they are all indeed the Sons of Satan. Again, they pretty much just introduce you to, there's no surprise when you put this album on that it sounds the way it does. Sons of Satan and the song Welcome to Hell, they're both pretty, they're amazing songs, and they're just really, really good. Lyrics are evil. Yeah, we can tick off. I think we can tick off the lyrics. Even the song names, I think we can tick off in terms of black metal contenders. Sons of Satan, check, pretty evil. Welcome to Hell, check, pretty evil. Schizo, that could be a song about anything. To a point. But it's still evil. It's still good. I think that's one of the longer songs. I could be wrong. Mayhem with Mercy. Yeah, it doesn't really give too much away. Poison. Yeah, again, just all this like chaotic, negative stuff from life, from what life offers, is pretty much what's on the album. Live Like an Angel, Die Like a Devil. Pretty satanic, pretty demonic, pretty cool. Again, so far, looking good. Flip the side over. Witching Hour. Again, another song devoted to, the time that ghosts and witches and whatnot all come alive. Pretty evil. These song names are pretty good. And then you get a random song that gets thrown in there. 1,000 Days of Sodom. Definitely my second favorite song, and I reckon one of the more catchiest songs on this record, on this album. 1,000 Days in Sodom. Pretty fun. It's chuggy and it's good. Angel Dust is just this. It's just a soaring song, really. It's really good. But then they also have a song called In League with Satan. 2 songs on this album that have Satan in the name. And I can't argue enough that In League with Satan is easily my favorite song. I had watched a video where a guy held this album up on his, terrible songs on great albums, and he said that In League with Satan was the worst song. And I'm like, no way. If anything, Red Light Fever is the worst song in my opinion. But anyway, In League with Satan acts as this like conjuring type song. It starts with drum beat. Well, actually, it starts with a voice recording played backwards, and then tribal drums, and then the guitar obviously copies it. Evil stuff, and just scary lyrics all around on this album. So, yeah, honestly, for its time, pretty damn good. I'm still holding it 40 years later. So yeah, it's still deemed it's a great album regardless. And we got 3 guys who are the Sons of Satan, as they say, and it's just really, really cool. So yeah, so far there's a lot of green ticks. However, this is where I think this is what separates the 2 albums. So we have to talk about production, okay? Like I said before, in terms of early 1980s, it's obviously raw. It's the rawest. It's one of the rawest albums in the new wave of British heavy metal, but it's not Norwegian raw. I know the Norwegian raw hasn't been invented yet, and it doesn't really kick off until the 90s, late 80s, I don't know. When did Death Crush come out? 87 or something like that? So yeah, obviously it's not the rawest of raw, but it's still pretty raw, and it's got that bite and it's got that crunch. It's raw for its time, but obviously it started the raw thing. It's not so raw that the treble is maximized and the bass is down and there's no mids, things like that. But it's still crusty and raw. But yeah, that's probably the biggest thing in my opinion that separates these two is obviously the production. But yeah, I think before I get too onto that, I think those are the contenders. Those are the staples that will make a good black metal album. Image, names, and satanic themes, really. But yeah, overall, regardless of if it's deemed the creation or not, fantastic album, and definitely should listen to it. Bit of a plug there. But yeah, I think that's all I can say at the moment for Welcome to Hell. And with that in mind, or out the way rather, we'll move on to Bathory. Right. So 3 years later, so we got 1981, which had Welcome to Hell, and now we've got 1984 from Sweden. So we've jumped over the water. That's from, obviously, Venom are from England, Bathory are from Sweden. So, first of all, in a way, what's the first thing you notice that joins these two albums? No? Okay. What on their album cover was like a basic satanic symbol, you could say. Obviously, the pentagram with the goat head designed in it like that. It's a symbol as opposed to like a photograph, even though it's not a photograph, but you know what I mean? Like, this is not a symbol or anything. It looks like a proper goat. So it's almost like we've taken one more step into the door that is black metal. Obviously, it's just black and white, pretty raw. Again, it's bleak in a way, but it's captivating. Again, there's that word again. But it's still eerie and creepy to look at. Venom's was gold. This is white. The original was yellow, I think. So I think black and white obviously looks more evil, and with the red eyes in the middle, it's just like, a demonic possessed goat, really. You can't get more black metal satanic than that. The name, however, we have Welcome to Hell. They've got one up on Bathory for this. Welcome to Hell obviously outstretches this one because it doesn't have a name. It's just Bathory. But at the same time, I love that because it's almost like, debuts. I love self-titled debuts, and this is the iconic one from their catalogue, obviously. But yeah, going off the cover, again, if your nan picked this up, then she's a really, really cool person and deserves to live a long life. But yeah, again, kind of basic, straight to the point. It definitely gives you off a vibe of not nice music, okay? So if we move on to, oh, look at that. So what's on Venom's front is on Bathory's back. Now, I don't know what's on the back of the original Welcome to Hell LP. I've got a remastered double one down there, and it's just a white picture with the band. But obviously, you flip this over. So I don't know how evil the back of Welcome to Hell was, but you flip this round and you get confronted with a pentagram, not with a goat head, but just with a pentagram itself, with red and white, black, red, and white, pretty evil colours. And rather than side A and side B, you've got side darkness and side evil, which is pretty evil. So yeah. Now, so we'll go through the songs again. So it opens with Hades, which is kind of like, it opens in a way sort of the same, not completely, but the same as Black Sabbath. It starts with atmospheric clouds and thunder, I'm pretty sure. But rather than, it goes for a lot longer than Black Sabbath does, the intro. But this one is definitely a lot more bone-chilling, and I think I call it hurricane-y. Like, when you put it on, it sounds like it's not a nice night. And it's like loud clouds. They sound I think they might sound sort of distorted. They just sound real evil and just heavy and thick clouds getting ready for rain. And then you just get punched in the face with Hades. Now, a lot of these songs, you could say, are the same. There's no epic, there's no long songs on here. Pretty much like Welcome to Hell. There's no long songs. Everything is just like in the 4-5 minute mark, you could say. Hades, Reaper, Necromancy, and Sacrifice are all, they all kind of start the same with just lone guitar intros and things like that. But they all have something they all have something really dark and sinister about them. You can just tell it's different from Welcome to Hell. A song like Sacrifice, for example, which is my favorite off this album, it definitely has. That's up there with the 1,000 Days of Sodom. It's definitely probably the catchiest song on this album, most headbangable. I mean, no, they're all headbangable, but like definitely more boppy, you could say. But you know what I mean. It's just a good tune. So that's Side Darkness. Side Evil has In Conspiracy with Satan on it, which might rival In League with Satan from the other album. You know, so we've got two evil bands that have a goat, technically the same goat on the cover, and now they've got a song on here, both with Satan in the name. In Conspiracy with Satan is obviously a lot more faster and a lot more less. I want to use the word tribal, but at the same time I don't, because it's everything but tribal. You know, it's more thrashy, it's more fast, it's more speed. You know, Armageddon, Raise the Dead, and War, they're all real quick and real fast and just really, really awesome. Both these albums are full of fantastic songs. No one's denying that. So before you roast me for not talking about your favorite song enough, delete that comment, because trust me, I'm aware of how good all these songs are. Okay? So leave it there. But yeah, obviously the standout ones for me are Sacrifice and Conspiracy. They're really, really cool. So right now, they're both getting all the green ticks for a trademark black metal album. However, to me, there is one key difference that separates the two of them. And that is, we have to talk about production. So, like Venom, like Welcome to Hell, this album is raw as well. However, it feels more raw. You know, it's like they've definitely taken another step in the black metal direction that black metal would soon be. This album definitely has a lot more grit and I can't think of another word other than raw. Like it's just trebly, and you know, but there's still a bass kick when you hear it, but it's nowhere near what Norwegian black metal sounds like. It's not completely treble based, but at the same time, the vocals. This is where a big difference is. So the vocals on this album are a lot more coronavirusy, you'd say. You know, they're a lot more flu-like and they're a lot more phlegmy. Whereas on Venom, they're a bit more like, I don't want to say spoken lyrics because they're obviously sang, but at the same time, it's more like shouting. It's just shouted vocals over a chord progression. Whereas this one's a lot more phlegmy and pure, real, more black metal-y, you could say. I mean, you know, it's definitely not death metal. We're not there yet, but it's got that high pitched phlegm, like that immortal type sound, dark funeral-y type vibe. And I know I'm mentioning bands that obviously don't exist yet because they all originate from these albums and whatnot, but literally, it's the biggest thing that separates these two is the production and the vocal style. And I think because of that, I have to be the minority here and chuck myself on the team that says Bathory is the debut for black metal. I mean, everything about this album, it's like, it's got 4 or 5 green big ticks, whereas that one, you know, I get that it's older, so they haven't done it yet, but I mean, it's a lot more thrashy, and it definitely opened the door for a lot of future heavy metal bands, but this one definitely paved the way for what black metal was going to be. You know, lyrically and imagery, they did it. Production-wise and vocal-wise and musicianship, it's just all on here, and I love this album so much. So yeah, I'm landing on the conclusion that Bathory did it first, okay? You could chuck in the hate, I won't mind, but I want it backed up. I want to know why the hate is there. Tell me your opinions below. Which one do you think is the pioneer? You know, is it Welcome to Hell? Is it Bathory? Tell me why this one reigns over that one. Tell me, you know, give me your reasons. I'd be keen to listen. I'd be keen to hear. So, yeah, I've probably started some hate, but I don't care. It's the internet. It's my opinion. Should have said that at the start, probably, but at the same time, who cares? It's just me having some fun, rambling over some heavy black metal, and yeah, we've reached the end. Thank you so much for watching, team. Like I said, like I just said before, let me know down below which one you think is the iconic, the debut of black metal, and I would love to listen to your opinions and thoughts. And yeah, it's kind of inspired me to do one for death metal now, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, hang on tight, and I will be back soon with some more controversial opinions. But until that happens, stay inside, stay safe, and just hang out and listen to black metal. That's all I could say. Stay inside and listen to black metal. See you later.